Module 8, Rocket Fuel, How to Build Relationship Momentum Fast. Key lesson, build your relationship into something he would be very reluctant to lose. Intertwine your life with his. The momentum method is a relationship tool. It teaches you how to create a new foundation for your romantic relationship. The new foundation is built on the pursuit of shared goals. These goals will intertwine your life with his, weaving a tapestry that is as beautiful to behold as it is fun to create. The momentum method is all about moving toward what you want more of in your life. The secret sauce behind the momentum method is that you do this as a couple rather than separately as individuals. Shared relationship goals. When we try to pick out something by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe. John Muir. Shared goals are all about building something together, but not just saying anything. These shared goals have to have one special quality: momentum. The goals you choose to pursue as a couple should have two special qualities. Number 1, they are enjoyable right now as you pursue them, and number 2, they build toward even more enjoyment in the future. Let's take a look at 3 ideas for shared goals. I'll use them to contrast what works and what doesn't. One of the 3 meets the momentum criteria and 2 do not. See if you can tell which one is the winner. For the sake of this illustration, let's assume the couple is a 34-year-old man, Ryan, who works as a financial advisor, and a 29-year-old woman, Jenny, who started dating him about 2 months ago. They met at a Chamber of Commerce meeting in the small town where Jenny owns a salon. Jenny wants to spend more time with Ryan, and she wants to put the principles of the momentum method to work. So she tries to think of a shared goal, something they can work toward and enjoy as a couple. Number 1. Her first idea is to invite Ryan to join her love of gardening by creating a shared gardening space for vegetables behind her house. She figures they can enjoy the process and also look forward to making a meal with the fruit of their labor a few months down the road. Number 2. Her second idea is to invite him to join her for some Tai Chi classes. She figures it's the kind of skill that brings relaxation and health for the long term, and she hopes he will see it as an opportunity to develop his health and well-being while simultaneously spending some time with her. Number 3. Her third idea was to make a long list of all the local and distant places each of them would love to visit, but simply never made time for. She figured they could start with local restaurants they want to try and gradually move toward weekend getaways as the relationship matures, or even 4-day-long weekend trips to visit some of the more remote locations like the Redwood Forests, the Grand Canyon, and the Virgin Islands. You might be thinking all of these examples seem to fit the concept of building momentum toward a shared goal in the future, but one is far superior than the others. It's the third one. Let me show you why. The third example has a unique characteristic that the others lack. It taps into desires that already exist. It taps into root-level excitement by channeling activities a person would already have an emotional attachment to. Then it grabs those emotions of excitement and desire and ties them into the relationship itself. The relationship actually becomes an excuse to do some of the very things Ryan has wanted to do for a while. Things he kept putting off in service of being sensible, saving money, and investing time in getting his career off the ground. The other 2 ideas are nice, but they lack the excitement of momentum that builds toward larger possibilities. Yes, planting a garden can be peaceful and relaxing. They might have some great conversations while sitting quietly in the shade and tending the soil, but Jenny is missing the opportunity to tap into the momentum of Ryan's existing desires. Similarly, Tai Chi is a rewarding activity that builds toward lasting health benefits over time. The idea of learning a new skill together is on the right track, but one thing is missing. It does not tap into his existing hopes and desires for the future. Here is the key difference. The first 2 options are like trying to build a relationship from the ground up. You start from nothing and try to develop new interests and shared goals. In contrast, Jenny's third idea rests on the solid power of existing desire. As a result, Jenny is tying the relationship to momentum that already exists in Ryan's emotional world. The momentum of his emotion works in favor of wanting more of what they are building together as a shared relationship goal, to explore the world together. This is just one example. The truth is, once you understand the underlying principle, you can apply this principle in thousands of different ways. In essence, your job is to learn what he wants and then link those wants to his relationship with you. The new and improved mixtape. Here's another simple example to bring the idea of the momentum method to life. Again, this is just one example from thousands you'll be able to think of yourself once you have fully grasped the basic formula. Back in the 80s, couples loved giving each other mixtapes as gifts. They represented a gift of time because you had to work hard to find and physically record your partner's favorite songs. These gifts also represented attention, care, and shared history because to know your partner's favorite songs, you have to have at least some shared history with them. In this age of digital music, it's much easier, but don't let that fool you. It still takes some effort to build a collection of your favorite tunes, songs you and your partner both enjoy. So here's how you put this specific momentum method idea to work. Start a specific playlist that you will both add to over time as your relationship develops. You could even create multiple playlists for different occasions, for example, lovemaking, preparing dinner together, or even Saturday morning chores. Again, notice how this method taps into something both of you already enjoy. It takes that enjoyment to a new level by making it a part of your relationship. His favorite songs get tied to his anticipation of spending time with you. Plus, energy gets activated when you both look forward to working on this project again in the future. It's not something you're likely to finish all in one sitting. In fact, I would encourage you not to. It's in your best interest to let this play out over time as a work in progress. Meaningful goals. Momentum is one of the signals for his hero instinct. Momentum naturally brings feelings of meaning and purpose, even if the momentum is toward nothing more than pleasurable recreation. The reason is simple. It's the same reason you can be so emotionally involved in a fictional novel. You really care about the characters. If given an opportunity, you would actually risk your time, energy, and possibly even your life to help the characters in those stories, if you could enter their world. You've become attached to people who never actually existed in a story that never actually happened. It's fiction, yet it grabs our emotions as if it really mattered. The emotional attachment is possible because professional novel writers have learned the trick to tapping into your emotion. You know what it is? It's setting up a goal for the main character and then writing a plot that involves frustrations that block the character from achieving that goal. The author avoids resolving all the problems until the very end when you reach a satisfying conclusion. Have you ever gotten really involved in a video game you wanted to win at? Maybe it was Mario Bros. On Nintendo when you were a kid. Or maybe it was a simple app on your phone or iPad like Candy Crush or Bejeweled. Video games keep the dopamine flowing in the reward center of our brain. It's a challenge with continuous feedback. That constant feedback makes the challenge seem real, present, and important even though you consciously know it's just a game. Here's my point. Progress is fascinating. It holds our attention. That's why you can hook a man's interest and energy even with recreational goals. So long as you choose shared relationship goals that have an element of momentum, you have created a recipe for success. But to become even more sophisticated with this technique, you should also look for opportunities to connect with his deeper sense of meaning and purpose. I'm talking about things that are not merely recreational, but rather the kinds of things that we feel proud of when we look back at our lives and judge whether or not we have lived a life that mattered. The truth is, everyone matters. You don't have to accomplish great things to have infinite worth. Nonetheless, men are hardwired with a deep need to prove their worth. Men try to prove their worth by providing, so give him a way to provide. Connect his efforts to the relationship he shares with you. Do you remember the distinction I made between Jenny's first two ideas for shared goals and the third one that involved traveling the world together? That was an example of a recreational goal they could share as a couple. The reason the third idea was the best was because it built on the momentum of what was already present in his world of desires. When you tap into his desire to be a provider, you are doing the same thing. You are tapping into a desire that already exists in his emotional world, but you are taking that desire and channeling it toward your relationship.